I also saw the Joker last week. I know I'm a little late to the party, but I have a lot to say about the Joker. First off, there's going to be spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie yet and you don't want anything spoiled for you, you might want to turn away right now. Plug your ears, mute the video, pause it, and come back to it after you're done seeing the movie. But I'm going to talk about it. So first, I want to get this myth out of the way. I've heard and seen people say that this Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, is the best Joker ever. The Joaquin Phoenix Joker that we just saw is the best Joker. Oh, why did I do that? I'm such an idiot. Not paying attention. So what is the Joker supposed to be? What do we know about the Joker traditionally when it comes to the Batman movies? The Joker is this mysterious criminal mastermind. I know besides the Tim Burton movie, you usually don't know the identity of the Joker. You don't know his name, or at least Gotham doesn't know his name. The people of Gotham don't know who the Joker is. They just see this psychopathic clown that wants to create a bunch of chaos and create anarchy. That's all the people of Gotham know. And he's a criminal mastermind. That's what they know about the Joker. You look at this Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. Now, Joaquin Phoenix did great in his role. I'm not taking anything away from him. But there's nothing mysterious about this Joker, at least when it comes to the context of Gotham. Because as we know, at the end of the movie, the Joker, he's invited on the Murray Franklin show, the late night comedy show in Gotham City. Someone from the Murray Franklin show had to track down Arthur Fleck. They know his name. They had to call his house. On top of that, he had investigators after him. He had these investigators looking into him. They knew who he was. He had coworkers. He had former coworkers who knew who he was. So there's no mystery behind this Joker. So once Joker starts wreaking havoc in Gotham, everyone knows who he is. There's no mystery to it whatsoever. He's not the Joker in this sense. He is Arthur Fleck, who is this psychopath who comes from a troubled background and hates society. No mystery to him. What someone pointed out in the Nolan Dark Knight movie, that the Joker is presented to the audience the same way Batman is presented to the criminals in Gotham. Because the criminals in Gotham, they don't know who Batman is. They don't know where he's coming from. They don't know where he's going to strike next. All they know is he's this mysterious guy that just comes out of nowhere, and he always has these amazing weapons. And it's the same thing with the Joker, how he's portrayed to the audience. You don't know who he is. You don't know where he comes from. You just know he just keeps showing up mysteriously with all these fancy weapons. So the whole mystery to this Joker is now dead. And on top of that, I think this Joker is kind of a bumbling idiot. Arthur Fleck, he can barely take care of his mom. He can barely hold down a job. He gets fired because he brings a gun to a children's hospital, and whoops, it falls out of his pocket. Oopsie daisy. When he's talking to the investigators at the hospital, he tries to be smooth, but ends up running into a glass wall. And maybe I'm overthinking it too much, but the whole time I'm thinking, this is the this is the guy that turns into a criminal mastermind that goes toe to toe with Batman. This the same criminal mastermind that can get the upper hand on Batman and rival the mafia like it's no one's business. This guy that can't even keep it together to tell a coherent joke at a stand-up comedy routine. And now you could say, oh, well, maybe he gets it together. There's nothing about that movie that tells me that this guy is capable of becoming a criminal mastermind that's capable of going up against Batman. So it's just pure Batman canon. I think it sucked. And this idea that the Joker is, that this Joker is the best Joker is just dumb. It's just ridiculous. This Joker would get his ass handed to... I mean, he got his ass handed to him by a bunch of hooligans. You're telling me he can figure out how to take on Batman? No. Best Joker, my ass. But the one theme I did like from this movie, from Joker, and I'm not sure if this was an intentional point. I feel like it was kind of made on accident. Was the Joker's inability to deal with reality. The Joker doesn't know what's real. He literally says that at some point in the movie. He said, you know, for the longest time, I didn't even know if I was real. And it's shown in different parts of the movie. Obviously, with his delusions about his neighbor, he thinks that he has a romantic relationship with his neighbor, and then it's revealed that that was all a delusion in his own head. That they never had a romantic, they never even had a friendship. Forget being romantically involved. His neighbor barely even knew him. On top of that, I felt like the gun part, when he gets the gun, it's kind of hard to tell if that was a delusion. So Arthur Fleck, it showed that his coworker gives him a gun after he gets his ass kicked by the hooligans. His coworker gives him a gun, and Arthur Fleck says, "You know I'm not allowed to have a gun because he's psychotic. He was a former patient at Arkham." He's like, "You know I'm not allowed to have a gun." He's like, "Yeah, but you need it for your own protection. You need it. You're getting your ass, it's dangerous out there." But then when the gun falls out of his pocket, Arthur, instead of telling the truth of how he got the gun, he says that it was a prop. And then it turns out that his coworker claims that the coworker that gave him the gun tells his boss that Arthur Fleck had been bothering him about hooking him up with a gun, which Arthur Fleck denies. But that's another thing: was that a delusion, the way he got the gun, and he doesn't know what's real, or is he just unable to deal with the reality of the situation? So either the way he got the gun was a delusion, or he's just unable to deal with it. He has to resort to lying. Like, it's just a prop. Or, he can't deal with reality. He can't be honest about it for whatever reason. And I think the real turning point in this movie is when Arthur Fleck finds conflicting stories about his upbringing. As I was saying, the real turning point in the movie is when Arthur Fleck hears conflicting stories about his own upbringing. His mom tells, Arthur Fleck's mom, Penny Fleck, tells him that he's the bastard son, the illegitimate son of Thomas Wayne, the billionaire that's running for mayor. But she's not allowed to come out with the truth because she signed a non-disclosure agreement. So Arthur Fleck thinks that Thomas Wayne is his dad, and Penny Fleck's trying to get money out of him, saying, "Hey, we're just struggling to get by, and maybe if Thomas Wayne saw how much we were suffering, he would help us out with some money," because Penny Fleck used to also work with Thomas Wayne. So Arthur Fleck tries to confront Thomas Wayne, calling him dad and whatnot, and then when Thomas Wayne figures out, oh, it's Penny Fleck's son, he's like, "Nah, she's crazy, go look it up at Arkham." So he goes to Arkham to look it up and finds out that he was adopted by Penny Fleck, and that he was abused as a child. He's not the son of Thomas Wayne. He's not even the son of Penny Fleck. So he doesn't know what's real anymore. He already, at this point, he already established, I didn't even know if I was real. And now he doesn't even know what's real about his upbringing. And I think that was a turning point, because you notice that after that, the only people he kills are people that he thinks lied to him. He kills his coworker that gave him the gun and lied about it. He kills his mom, who lied to him about his upbringing. And he kills Murray Franklin, who invited him on his show to make fun of him under false pretenses. And it really shows that when someone can't deal with reality, it shows the consequences. You lose your mind. You go crazy. When you can't differentiate between reality and delusion, when you don't know what's real, all you get is chaos. That's all you really want. And that's how Gotham is portrayed in the movie. Is that, it's just dog eat dog. No one knows what's good. That's what Joker says at the end. Like, you guys decide what's good and what's bad the same way you decide what's funny. It's all subjective. How do you guys know what's real? None of you guys know what's real. You guys pretend to care about struggling people like me, yet if I were dead in the street, you'd just step on over me. And that's why I think, Joker, he accidentally creates this political movement of clowns who want to overthrow the rich, who want to get revenge on the rich. And even then, when all these people in Gotham are wearing Joker masks, he doesn't even own the movement. He doesn't want anything to do with it. You notice, when he gets off the train, he's running from the cops, and he has one of the masks on. But as soon as he gets off the train, he just throws it in the trash. And then when he goes on Murray Franklin's show, he says, "No, I'm not really with the protesters. I'm not really a political guy." Yeah, how can he be? He doesn't even know if the movement that he accidentally started, he doesn't even know if that's good or real. If you don't know what's real, you don't know what's good. You don't know what's funny. So, the Joker's nihilism, his desire for chaos, his view of the world that it's just dog eat dog, every man for himself. In order to get ahead, you have to step over some corpses. It's shaped from the premise that he doesn't know what's real. If you don't know what's real, then you don't know what's good. And if you're gonna, lie to people to get ahead, then you get what you effing deserve, is what he says at the end before he blows Murray Franklin's head off. That was one of my main issues with the movie overall, is that it's such a malevolent universe. It just portrays Gotham as just negative and pessimistic, and everyone, everything's getting worse, and it's just dog eat dog, and everyone's just out to get each other. Everyone's a dick, whether it's the hooligans that's beating up the Joker, or if it's the Wall Street, the Gotham Wall Street people that are beating up on the Joker. The public social worker doesn't even care about the Joker. That's illustrated when he says, I don't even know if I was real. Then, she just carries on with her normal routine, and he says, "Yeah, I just told you something deep, and you didn't even really, it didn't even really register with you. You're not listening. You're only here because you're getting a paycheck." And that's one of the things and maybe it had to be that way because that's the Joker's point of view, so to speak. But I think that's a huge contrast with the Nolan movies, which in the second and third movie, in The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, he shows that there's still good in Gotham, that people still want to be good. I mean, it's explicitly shown with the battle over Harvey Dent and the boat seat at the end of the Dark Knight. The fact that the boats won't blow each other up. And Batman says, this city just showed you that it's full of people ready to believe in good. The hell is this guy? Guess we're brawling. I felt like this was implicitly shown in The Dark Knight Rises. With the battle between John Blake and Selina Kyle. So you notice in The Dark Knight Rises, I think the real battle, the Battle of Gotham, is represented with between Selina Kyle and John Blake. Because you notice that they both come from similar backgrounds. John Blake was, kind of grew up as an orphan, grew up poor. Selina Kyle had a struggling background, but they're two completely different characters. John Blake pursues a career in law enforcement. He becomes a police officer for Gotham City. And he admires Bruce Wayne. When he goes up, he says, yeah, when I was a kid and you showed up to school, when you showed up to the orphanage, we all looked up to you. You were like, you were the man, showing up in your nice car. And, you had beautiful women around your arms. You were like a hero to us, and the city needs the Batman. John Blake really admires Bruce Wayne. But Selina Kyle is the exact opposite. She had a troubled upbringing, yet she's full of envy. She pursues a career in crime and cat burglary and identity theft. And she's envious of Bruce Wayne, saying, how dare you, you rich people. You guys keep so much for yourselves and leave so little for the rest of us. And she wants to see Gotham City burn. And you notice at the end of the movie, they both approach Batman differently, and Batman gives them two opposite sets of instructions. John Blake, he asked Batman, what can I do to help you save the city? I want to stay here with you, and I want to fight. And Batman tells him, you've done enough for me. Why don't you lead an exodus? Lead a bunch of kids, try to get them out of the city as safe as possible. Try to get as many people out of the city as possible. Go. Get out of the city. John Blake wants to stay and fight with Batman, yet Batman tells him to run. Now, Batman tries to recruit Selina Kyle as well. What up, Stuart? And Selina Kyle says, maybe I like it this way. With Bane taking over and destroying the city. Maybe I like it this way. And then Batman says, well, you're going to die because Bane's going to blow up the city if we don't do something. But even then, what does Selina Kyle want to do? She wants to run. She says, let's just get out of here. Why do you care about this city so much? Let the city burn itself to the ground, and let's just get out of here. Let's run. Let's get out of Dodge. And Batman says, no, you're going to stay with me. I need your help fighting. You're going to stay with me and fight. So you had John Blake, Selina Kyle, both came from poor upbringings and both have completely different approaches to life and views of the world. And John Blake wants to fight. He says, no, lead an exodus. Catwoman wants to flee, and he says, no, you're going to stay here and help me fight this out. And as a result of that, Batman gets Selina Kyle to recognize that there's still good in the city, that Gotham is still worth saving. That it's worth it to fight for good. But in the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie, there's no good. Everyone's just a dick. Everyone's just out to get each other. And that's a big reason why that's a big reason why I didn't like the movie, because it's just way too dark. Now, again, Joaquin Phoenix crushed it with the acting. And it was pretty well directed, but and I think it accidentally makes the point that that your inability to know reality ultimately leads to some form of chaos, to some form of its insanity. I think that's the only good part about that Joker movie. But overall, it's just way too dark and nihilistic, and I like to watch movies to be inspired,